Hello, I'm Sideshow back with more over.gg coverage of MLG Vegas, and this time I've got Fnatic's Custa just after they have come out on top in a ridiculously close last game against compLexity. So I think rather than working through it from like the beginning to end of that game, it would kind of make sense just to address that end part because that was truly ridiculous. So what is going through your mind when you've pushed to the end of Route 66 just to set the scene? And suddenly they stall for, I don't even know how long it was. Was it like 2 minutes or something that they stalled for?
We had about like a 1.5 minute exchange at when we first went in there, and we had some success, but at some point, 2 minutes into the fight, it was like, okay, we got to pull out here because like we were never going to reinforce faster than they are, and that's how you lose games because you keep fighting, but you're never going to win a fight. Especially on like last points, you really need to win a fight convincingly, so you can start pushing the cart to the very end. It was stressful. You have it in the back of your mind when you're doing those kind of games where it's just like, we got here with 4 minutes to go, like let's not throw it from here. We got a little scrappy towards the end. Everyone's splitting up, everyone's taking their own little duels. So we pulled through in the end. We had some like ridiculous players from a couple of people. Like Stoop hit, I think, 3 ridiculous Earth Shatters in the space of 2 minutes. We had a lot of good gravitons. Everyone made great plays, especially the compLexity guys. So it was stressful, but I'm glad we got through in the end.
In those kind of situations where everything is just incredibly chaotic compared to normal, how much of it is actually you guys trying to set up plays or organize your positioning or think about the ultimates to overcome the defender spawn advantage? And how much of it is just, you just got to kill people as soon as they come at you?
Generally, like when it's like in the middle of the chaos, it's just if you feel like you can make a big play with your ult, use it, because it's very hard to like combo things because generally everyone's calling things, everyone's trying to like make their own like little plays. So you really got to like work together and collaborate as much as you can, but most of it's just winging it and just like, just kill the people. Like if you listen to our comms, you would just hear us yelling like, just kill the diva, just kill the diva, just kill the diva. So, but there's so many right and wrong things to do in those situations because everyone has different ideas because it is chaos. So we feel like we do that pretty well, and we just got through it.
Let's start back at the beginning of the fixture then as well and talk about Gibraltar, because that was the map that they took from you and came up on an early 1-0 lead.
Yeah.
But even that map was really tight between the two of you. So walk me through that first map.
So both of us had like a pretty good offense until the last point. We capped the first point on our first attack, so did compLexity. They had a pretty good run through the hangar, so did we. It's just us using ultimates really well, us making plays for our teams. But it was the last point where it really distinguished. We stalled them really well. We got into the rhythm of like comboing our ults really well. So, one fight we have a Graviton Bomb, the next fight we have an Earth Shatter with like a Nana Boost, next time we have a aimbot. So like it was all about getting into that method. Unfortunately, they capped it in the very end. When we were doing our offense, we finished with like 47 seconds left. So, those are those awkward moments where you win by 47 seconds, but that doesn't really mean much because you have a minute, they have a minute 47, you have a minute 47, they have a minute. It could be anyone's game, and we had a really good defense. We decided to hold close. It was one of those things that is just, if we surprise them and we have a really clean fight there, then we can hold them pretty much at their spawn doors and we like almost default win. So we went for that. Didn't really work out, but we ended up holding them on the first point. But we couldn't get as far as they could. They were playing a Mei. Coming up against a Mei, you either win the fight or you lose the fight when they're playing defense, and we just didn't manage to get past it that time.
What do you think about playing against compLexity in general? Because they seem to be improved compared to what they would, how they've been playing in the past. They took a map off envious, and they actually could have very realistically closed it out 2-0 without envious ever really getting into the game. Yeah. And then they had a really strong showing against you when typically they would be the underdog coming into both of those games. Yeah. So do you feel like they've improved? What's the balance there between how you and envious have come up against compLexity?
I think compLexity is an incredibly underrated team. I think they're a team that we're always worried about when we come up against them. I would put them, higher than Cloud9 for the last, couple of months as well. So like they're always a team that you never know what you're going to get. They play very unorthodox, especially with the Sombra stuff now. So it's something that's very hard to prepare for. And they're a really good team. They've showed some really good results lately. It's disappointing that they haven't. I don't think they've had a LAN where they've made it out of groups, which is disappointing for a team of their caliber because it's unfortunate they ended up in a group with us and Envious and Rise Nation. Like three really good teams. No offense to Rise Nation, they didn't have a great LAN, but like three really good teams, only two can go through. So they just got the short straw this LAN. I hope to see them, get some really good results on the board in the future.
You're a team that seemed to put a lot of stock in preparation. It seemed to be one of your big strengths is preparing for teams and having a plan when you're going into each opponent. Now, compLexity do play a different style, and what they were playing in this game appeared to be different to what they were playing in previous games as well. So what's your preparation like going into games against compLexity?
Well, we've played against them a lot. We've scrimmed against them, and we were pretty ready for the Sombra stuff that they were going to pull. But it's something that no matter how ready you are, sometimes it's just going to catch you off guard. The EMP can easily turn a fight without you being able to do anything. So we prepared for it. If you saw on Route 66, we decided to play a Tracer because we know they're going to play a Zen and a Sombra instead of a Roadhog, because a Roadhog's actually really bad against a Sombra because it's really hard to hook her, and you have the Zen's discords. A Sombra can build a lot of ult charge off of a Roadhog, so we sort of tried to adjust the little things in our playstyle, but try and stick true to what we are, because as soon as you start playing someone else's game, you're going to lose.
Then the second map, you went onto Control and you started to establish a little bit of dominance. How was the shift then moving into the second map, having lost the first?
It was very disheartening for us, losing Gibraltar. We were pretty confident that we should have won that map. We made a couple of really bad mistakes, but it's all about forgetting that game. I'm pretty proud of the guys that we ended up losing the first round of that Koth, and then going, okay, what do we need to adjust? What do we need to do better? We made a lot of mistakes in that first one, and we adjusted really well. We decided the Pharah is good, but we need to switch off to the D.Va if they make these adjustments and that kind of stuff. And I think the points that took us over compLexity in that Koth was just our ability to switch and our ability to, play our game while forcing them out of theirs. So.
That means that you come up against FaZe tomorrow in the beginning of the playoffs, and then potentially against either envious or Cloud9. That's the other one in the final. How are you feeling about the first game against FaZe, and then the potential of facing one of those other two teams?
FaZe is a team that you never really know what you're going to get. Sometimes they can have some ridiculous games and play really well, but sometimes you can come up against them and it just sort of looks like they don't really know what they're doing. It's on us to shut them down early, especially Shadowburn. They play a very unorthodox way of playing in the meta. They're probably one of the only teams to play a Genji. And they play very heavily around Shadowburn, put everything on him. So we just got to focus on trying to shut him down and work together and play our game. We're pretty confident going into the game though. So we kind of want to go up against envious again. Where we believe envious will take it over Cloud9, but Cloud9 have been playing really well, so you don't know. But Cloud9 is a team that's actually playing really well within this meta. It seems to really suit them. They seem to have a really good grasp on what they need to do. So while envious, the games against them, as much as they're an amazing team, Harry Hook on Soldier is just something that's just so hard to deal with, and we really struggled against in our games. But we're pretty confident if we look back, we can maybe fix some things. So either team we come up against, though, we've got to play our game, and hopefully we can take it over them.
What did you think about that Fnatic envious game? Because that could well be a precursor to the eventual final that we see, and would have been a lot of analyst choices going into MLG Vegas of what their potential final would look like as well. So what went wrong for you guys in that game, and how do you think you would be able to develop that into an eventual win against them should you come up against them in the final?
They play a very flank-heavy game, something that we've never been used to in this sort of tank-heavy meta. Harry Hook's always just in no man's land, just shooting you in the back. I've never had such a tough time playing the game as Anna, because I'm always just getting picked down by a soldier. And then, that moment that, our D.Va distracts a soldier, Taimu's flanking from another no man's land and, hooking me. So they play very all over the place, and then they just try and protect Coco in the front. He plays very passive, he plays back, and then they sort of pick you apart from the outside. So we really got to work together on finding a way to not play their game. Bring that up again. It's all about getting our own strategy across. If we want to push the Rhine, we need to kill the Rhine. If we want to kill the flankers, we need to kill flankers instead of splitting. We got caught ourselves splitting a lot. Some people trying to deal with flankers, some people trying to push the Rhine, and if you start doing that, it's really hard to do either. So hopefully we can fix up those problems and we can have a better game against envious in the future.
Well, good luck for that. Good luck for your first playoff game,
you
and then
very much.
potentially the final as well.
Thank you.